happy smile. Boom. Make sure everybody your happy smiles.
Yes!
It's a wrap.
The WNBA and WNBPA have agreed to a handshake deal. So far we have salary changes, with the salary cap increasing to $7 million. That's increasing from 1.5. That's essentially the team splitting $1.5 million amongst all its players. And you can think of a handful of teams right now where the top 2 to 3 players deserve more than this amount. So that's increasing to $7 million. That's already a great number to jump to. All right, and then looking at the Supermax, this is increasing from just under $250,000 to $1.4 million. And we can all think of a handful of players who deserve this particular Supermax contract. And even right now, and just to briefly step out of that, check out the players who are making this amount and just under, and where some of the top stars land. Okay, we're looking at Asia Wilson way down here, making the same amount as Tiffany Hayes and Dejanay Carrington. Kelsey Plum, De'Erica Hamby, all of these players make more than Asia Wilson. I mean, that's got to be questionable. Sabrina Ionescu comes in at $222. You got Ariel Atkins, Gabby Williams, excellent players, but not franchise players. So that alone is going to change the landscape, just looking at Supermax. But then when we look back at it, the average salary so far has been $120,000. This is increasing to $600,000. Not to say that every single average player will make this, but some of the best role players will now be eligible for this amount of money. That is literally life-changing money, like Alicia Clark said. And then your minimum salary is going to go from $66,000 to $300,000, which is absolutely crazy. Not just thinking about the amount they were starting at, but the amount they're going to. This has to be great for all players involved. We know the players are happy with this now. And then just some other benefits we know that are kind of leaking. We don't really know if it's revenue versus profit. For the most part, we can only assume they have ironed out what things are getting paid for where. That's really all you're deciding. But we do know the players got what they were asking for as far as housing, whatever they were looking for as far as their mid-level and minimum players. So we know we got what they wanted there. But we also know that the franchise tag is going to stay, which is basically like their core system in the WNBA. But while we have got salary changes, salary increases for that matter, and we're still waiting to see what other things trickle down and actually get released to the public. Let's just look through the teams really quick here and see what that means we're actually dealing with. When you look at the Las Vegas Aces, and we're starting with them because they're the champions, but look how many free agents this team has. Obviously looking at Asia Wilson, but those top 4 players would deserve or could get the maximum. You got to see Meg right there. But all 4 of them aren't going to get the max contract here, but that just shows you the other teams and how they can really move and pick up amazing players just by offering the max. Asia Wilson will obviously be offered the max contract from the Las Vegas Aces, but Jackie Young, Chelsea Gray, Jewel Lloyd, I can see Jewel Lloyd being on a completely different team, her own team for that matter. And even looking at their restricted free agents, they'll probably keep KB, but she's done a good job just with her resume and raising her stock in Athletes Unlimited. But Nalissa Smith, she completely turned her narrative around in this last year. Although this would be fighting up against other offers and other teams in the league, she could possibly get that. Remember, we have 2 extra teams coming into the league. Then looking at the Valkyries, again, just everyone is a free agent, even your reserved players. Yes, they can only negotiate, so to speak, with the Valkyries, but if the Valkyries don't want to, they'll be free agents as well. I mean, someone like Janelle Salon and maybe even Amahir would get those type of qualifying offers. But looking at the free agents, you're not really looking at max players right here. You're looking at well-played role players. So even the Valkyries can go out and get a max player. The Atlanta Dream are looking at the same problem. I mean, you have Ryan Howard as a restricted free agent. Any team that offers her the max, the Dream would have to match it. Same with Alicia Gray. Maybe not so much Brittany Griner, but she's going to be up there as well. Brianna Jones is going to pull in a pretty penny. So what we're really looking at is a league shakeup. There's no way a lot of these teams stay the same. The Chicago Sky, their active roster is 4 players. 4. Everybody they've been filling out this team with, trying to say we're going to build something, that they're gone. All of them are gone. You got 4 players. You're building around Angel Reese and Camila Cardoso. That's it. Even looking at Haley Van Lith, that's going to be your backup point guard. So they're going to go out and try to get a point guard, possibly a max point guard, especially if you actually want to do right by the superstar you have on your team in Angel Reese. The Connecticut Sun are a little bit different, seeing as they kind of had to rebuild coming out of the 2024 season. They got some really nice rookie contracts: Sanaya Rivers, Aaliyah Edwards, Anissa Morrow. This is a great team to build around. But when you look at all your vets, all your star power, that's leaving. You can see Marita Maber get offered a very nice contract. Same with Tina Charles. So another team that's just going to look completely different. The Dallas Wings probably have the largest roster, but some very important free agents. You can see Arike Gombawale going to another team, Natasha Howard. You have Lee Yuru on reserve. But this is another team that's going to look completely different. You're obviously building around Paige. You have the number 1 pick coming in. So this is going to be built around your young team. When these other contracts are coming in, you need veterans. You need older players that'll help this team get wins in the clutch and keep their poise in important situations. The Indiana Fever, obviously you're building around Caitlin Clark, Aaliyah Boston. You'll want to offer Kelsey Mitchell that max contract. So the Indiana Fever are one of the few teams that probably already have a plan moving forward. They probably already talked to a Kelsey Mitchell. And then looking at the free agents on this team, Odyssey Sims is interesting. She just won Athletes Unlimited, but that's another player that could see her stock, that has seen her stock rise over the last year, but also find a solid role player position on not just an existing team, but one of our expansion teams. Odyssey, I can definitely see Odyssey grabbing or getting, a multi-year deal with this new CBA. But again, the Fever look good. I think this is one of the few teams where your roster is pretty much already there, and you don't really have to break the bank or think outside the box to make this a championship contending team. The Sparks. So when you look at the free agents on the Sparks, you'll probably lose the Erica Hamby. You're definitely going to offer that max to Kelsey Plum. But you have Azarae Stevens there, who deserves a really nice check, while also being prepared to keep a Ray Burrell. She's going to get some nice offers if they don't lock her down. Not as strong as the Fever, but still a better idea of what you want your roster to look like when you're building around Cameron Brink, Rakia Jackson. Again, you're going to keep your Kelsey Plum. But if they could manage to keep Ray Burrell over all the other players here, then I think that keeps the Sparks in good shape. The Lynx are interesting because you have a championship contending team full of free agents. It's going to be nearly impossible to keep this team together. Obviously, in Nafisa Collier, you want to offer her the max contract, but every other player in your free agency pool is worth a nice role player contract, and everyone can't get that. Even with a $7 million salary cap, it's going to be so hard to keep these players together. Even right now, Dejanay Carrington, Kayla McBride, they're making around $200,000. So the Lynx are probably the most interesting team for me to see what the roster looks like come that first day of the season. Now, the New York Liberty are similar with the Lynx. Again, championship contending team, but all of them are free agents. 9 times out of 10, they're going to want to keep your Sabrina Ionescu, your Breanna Stewart, and maybe even Jonquel Jones. But that's really hard if all 3 of these players deserve a Supermax contract. So that's really where you'll see teams like this get interesting. Do they go for that big 3 or keep the big 2 and pay all your role players? I think we'll see teams do both. And it won't be until the end of the season that they say, oh, this worked or that worked, or New York got it right. A different look than the Lynx. I am interested to see who they keep, because this team, like the Aces, actually have a big 3, possibly where all those players could essentially walk away with the max, if not from their current team, from a different team. The Phoenix Mercury have 1 active player. Now, they do have a lot of reserves, so they'll be able to do what they need to do as far as a team. But they're going to obviously want to keep Alyssa Thomas, Kalia Copper, Satu Sabali. Again, a big 3, but who takes that cut? Who walks away without the Supermax contract? With a big 3, you're looking at $4.5 million. So that's only $2.5 to spread around to 9 other players. Role players will feel like they deserve that money as well, especially when you're looking at someone like DeWanna Bonner. Even if she's not a max contract player, she's a max mid-range player. So Phoenix will be another team where we're watching their big 3, but more how they figure out those top role players, because you could see Kalia Copper take one of those positions as well. The Seattle Storm are a little more solid in their active roster, especially having someone like Dominique Malonga, Mullen Horston. These are very solid young players. So when you do get into their free agency, you again have players who deserve the max, but also players that will take that max role player contract, especially if they're building out the team properly. Brittany Sykes, Erica Wheeler, Gabby Williams, you can see them getting that max average contract, even if it's not the max. The Washington Mystics, unfortunately, will probably see similar to the last couple of years where you don't really see a lot of movement, and they really don't have to. They have 5 active players. They have some restricted free agents they can try to keep a hold of. Obviously, you'll want to keep Shakira Austin, but that's if they want to come off the money. You got Stephanie Dolson, Alicia Clark, excellent veteran players. How much do you want to offer them to stay on the team? How do you want to build this team? So a team like the Mystics is more interesting because it's almost like they can go for that max player, but they don't have to. They could stick with their roster, keep their free agents, not necessarily sign a max, and not be hurting for players. And then just looking at the players that I think will walk away with a max contract, I think even if they don't get that max contract on the team that they're currently playing for, another team will offer them that contract and they will readily walk away with no hesitation, right? And because you know you have a group like this, even if you disagree in some areas, you got your sneaky max players that'll probably sneak in on a max contract just because that team needs them. I can see that happening with somebody like Dejanay Carrington only because she kind of did it last season, coming in on a $200,000 contract when most players aren't getting close to that. Same with Alicia Gray. If the Dream aren't able to get that together and keep her on max with the Ryan Howard, you can see her leaving and heading her own team, being the superstar for the Toronto Tempo or the Portland Fire. Marina Mabrey could lead her own team. Hell, she could lead the Connecticut Sun and be their max player. That's why this list is a sneak max list, because if the dice roll the right way, these players could get a crazy good contract. And then just looking at it and thinking about it from the thought of these other leagues, a $300,000, $600,000 paycheck will definitely keep these players from rushing into leagues like Unrivaled. And I think Aaliyah Boston is the best example there, because if she didn't have to play in Unrivaled, she would essentially be playing in FIBA and be representing her country, but almost feeling like she had to play in this other league outside of the W, she comes away losing opportunities even though she had to secure that paycheck. The CBA definitely ironed out the timeline a little better. Right now it's a handshake deal, so they will officially sign on March 31st, giving you your expansion draft on April 1st. And just like the other expansion draft, it was all behind the scenes, so we'll probably just get the rosters for that teams as they move on. And then less than a week, you'll have the start of free agency, and this is just when the conversations start, right? They can't actually put out those or make qualifying offers yet. And then after that, they'll have the college draft, and less than a week later, we'll get training camp, preseason, and the start of the season. So we at least know we're at least getting a WNBA season now. I like the changes. Just like a lot of people, I'm happy for the average players, the role players that are really seeing a crazy increase when you think about how this is going to affect their lives. All the players got to win with this. So I'm happy for the players. I'm happy for the W. I'm happy for the fans. It's official. We're going to get a season.
Don't forget to like and subscribe, players.